99% of the preppers that you see online are their own worst enemy and completely stupid. I'm going to tell you why. Let's get into it. I see a lot of YouTube channels out there promoting these buckets of survival foods. I hate that term survival. It's such a misnomer. And I'll discuss that in another video. And I see others that are, oh, I went to the grocery store because they had case lot sales this week, and I bought all these vegetables and canned fruits and canned meat and canned this and canned poison. Because that's what it is, canned poison. And I think to myself, these people are supposed to be prepping for something, or want to be more self-reliant. And there's no way that they don't know how bad these foods are for them. It's all over the internet that shows how bad they are. The vegetables and fruits and meats themselves have BHA and BHT in them. The cans are lined with plastic that has PFOAs and PFASs in the plastic. And people still keep buying the stuff. Boxed foods, anything processed, has carcinogenic chemicals that damage us, that promote our bodies to degrade faster. There's no nutrition in these foods. Cereals, bag cereals, box cereals, BHA, BHT, the plastic bags that line the cereal boxes full of PFOAs and PFASs. Yet, people continue to buy this crap. People who are supposedly smart enough to be preparing for when the shite hits the fan, but yet they're too stupid to buy things that are going to be healthy for when that time comes. Not to mention, if you have to bug out of your house, and that's a whole nother video I'm going to do. People that, oh, I'm bugging in, I'm staying put. I got all my stuff set up and I'm good to go. Until you have to leave, because you will have to leave. And then how do you take all this stuff with you? All this extra weight? Where are you going to put it? When vehicles run out of fuel or break down and there's no parts left to fix them, where are you going to put all this food? Where are you going to take all this? How are you going to take it all with you? You won't. You'll leave it for other people to scrounge and take for themselves. Now, in that sense, it's a good thing because you'll help promote their death sooner from bad health, from the carcinogens and poisons in this food. But in the short term, you're going to have to leave a bunch of stuff behind for other people because you won't have any way to carry it. So I don't understand this mentality of stockpiling all these canned foods and box processed crap. Take that money and invest in a freeze dryer and a dehydrator. Make your own food. Make your own healthy meals that you'll have that are 1/100th the weight of all the canned stuff. Take up much less space. You could fit in a 27-gallon tote. You could fit probably 200 to 300 meals in there. That's a lot of food, especially if you have a family. And if it's just you only need a couple of totes full of freeze-dried or dehydrated foods and you're good for a long time. And it's a whole lot easier to try to transport that stuff if you need to on foot than it is to haul around canned goods. And not to mention, if it's really hot in the summer, then you got all the heat, whether it's in a vehicle, a trailer, whatever, all that heat being projected out of that food. Or if it's winter, the stuff's going to freeze. Then the food's no good either way. But I really don't understand the mindset of these people. You're preparing for end times. You're preparing for what's coming. But yet you're not fueling your engine now, your body's engine, to make sure it's in the best shape to handle what's coming. I see people spending thousands and tens of thousands of dollars on their vehicles, getting them all set up for the apocalypse, or on their houses, making sure that they're all secure and safe, while pumping all this poisonous crap into their bodies. Or I've even seen preppers that have these jacked up trucks all set up to go, and then you see them pull into McDonald's or a Wendy's or a Burger King and grab a meal. Really? You wouldn't pour sugar in your fuel tank of your truck, would you? Because that'll kill the engine. Well, pouring all this crap into your body that has no nutritional value, no sustenance, no energy, is the same thing as pouring sugar into your fuel tank. Where's this mentality coming from? Well, it's cheap. It's cheap food. Yeah, it's cheap for a reason. Because it has no nutrition in it. It's killing you. That's what these corporations want. It's a way to cull the herd. And you're falling right into their trap. I don't get it. And not only that, but if you have a family, you're feeding this crap to your family. We wonder why children have autism and ADHD and all these other maladies and ailments and brain disorders. We wonder why there's rainbow-haired freaks, mentally ill freaks running around. Because they grew up on pizza rolls and Lunchables and Hot Pockets and all this other crap. And people who are preparing and self-reliant are still doing it today. And you can't tell me you don't know that these foods are not good for us. It's all over the internet. X and YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. You see these people that are having these foods tested and finding out that the foods inside the cans are chemically bad for you. They've been sprayed with Roundup, glyphosate. So the food itself is already bad. Then you're putting it into a plastic-lined can that has PFOAs and PFAS in them. I don't get it. Instead of investing all this money into that crap, invest in a freeze dryer, dehydrator, as I said. Also on Marketplace, I'm seeing ads for people who have freeze dryers who are renting time. So you can find somebody local to you that has a freeze dryer, and I've seen ranges from $20 up to $50 for 24 hours. You can freeze dry a lot of stuff in 24 hours, even if it took you a couple of days. $40 or $100 for a couple of days of freeze drying foods that you know are going to be nutritional and healthy is a far better investment than all this money into these poisons that you're stocking on your shelves, or these buckets of survival food that are nothing but chemical crap. Now, I haven't tested all of the container foods, but there are some points. Doesn't matter what brand it is. Number one, I've had clients that have bought these buckets and then asked me what I think about them, and I'd look at them and I'm like, really? It has the same crap you would have if you went to the store and bought stuff off the shelf. It's processed the same. A lot of these things are made in the same plants that make all the foods you find in your grocery stores. Now, there are a few cottage industry that make these kinds of foods, but then again, they're putting them in Mylar bags, which are, again, made out of plastic, which is a petroleum-based. So it has PFAS and PFOAs because that's inherently in the petroleum used to make plastics. So you're getting food that has plastics in it. And you're supposed to rip the pouch open, pour hot water to reconstitute or rehydrate these foods. So the heat from the water is going to release those PFAS and PFOAs into your food. And not to mention the food inside is not the best quality foods. So what are you gaining? You're nothing, absolutely nothing, other than a quick ticket down the rabbit hole of medical strife and illnesses and degradation of your body because you're not putting quality ingredients in. Now, when I freeze dry my foods, I take the contents after freeze drying and I put them in a butcher paper envelope. I don't use any of the parchment paper. I use butcher paper because it's not covered in plastics like parchment paper is. Butcher paper is just paper. And butcher paper can get wet and it'll hold up. So I wrap the ingredients in the butcher paper, slide it into one of the plastic sleeves, seal it, vacuum seal it, and I have my meal. And I can, like I said, I can make a lot of them. Now, I don't own a freeze dryer yet. I'm working towards getting one. But I have a friend who has one, so I've been lucky enough to be able to use his. But again, I've seen a marketplace where you can rent time. And a couple of the people that have rental time that I've spoken to, they've been able to meet other like-minded people that are in the same group as them. They're into prepping and self-reliance, so they've been able to make some good contacts with people, which is another, I guess it's a benefit to some people. I'm not into the community building thing, but if that's your thing, then it's a good way to meet other people with like minds. But we have to seriously think about what we're putting in our bodies, because when the shite does hit the fan, we have to be able to perform for our families. Even if you're by yourself, if you're in the preposphere or self-reliance sphere, then obviously you want to try to stay alive. So if you want to try to stay alive, you've got to make sure that your engine is properly fueled to do so. Because if you're eating all this crap food, guess what? You're not going to be able to carry your go bag, your 72-hour bag or whatever you have, or your pew, because you won't have the energy and the proper nutritional balance in your body to do so. People don't think about these things. I got all the latest, greatest gear. I got 50 knives, and I got 10,000 rounds, and I got 20 pews, and man, I'm good to go. No, you're not. You're not good to go if you're pumping crap into your pie hole. Not going to happen. And like I said, not to mention, you're feeding that crap to your family. That's why we have so many people walking around that are lethargic all the time with brain fog, why dementia is so prevalent, Alzheimer's, all these other things that were never prevalent with our grandparents and great-grandparents, because they didn't eat crap. They didn't have processed foods. They ate the foods that they grew from the animals that they slaughtered. They weren't relying on a store to give them all of the nutrition that they needed. And it's just getting worse and getting worse. Now they're talking about, adding the mRNA to foods, to these processed foods, and a lot of them have bioengineered products in them. Campbell's, perfect example. Every can says bioengineered meat product. What is that? That's not anything that's good for the human body. And if you look at a lot of other foods, which I've been checking out in stores, says the same thing. It doesn't matter if it's a national brand or a store brand or a generic brand. All the vegetables come from the same processing plants with different labels on them, and they're all made with the same cans that have the same plastic lining in them, all with the same foods that have the same glyphosate and other chemical carcinogens in them. The box mac and cheeses and all these other things, same thing. Cereals are full of BHA and BHT. The plastic bags are full of PFAS and PFOAs. None of these processed, commercially available foods are any good. I eat none of them. I don't buy any of them. I no longer eat any fast food. I drink no soda. And I've never drank energy drinks. And these people that gulp down these energy drinks, 3, 4, 5, 7 per day. Oh my God, you're completely destroying your body. We are chemically and genetically altering our bodies through this crap. That's why we have people that are gluten intolerant, which was never a thing. It's not even really a thing. It's not that gluten is bad for you. It's all the glyphosate that has been put into wheat and barley and rye and all this other stuff that's caused the problems. Our bodies can't process it because it's poison. I eat meat, mostly ground meat, that is venison or bison, because you can do so many different things with it. I do eat chicken, eggs, grass-fed and finished butter, grass-fed and finished milk if I can't find raw, tallow, lard, coconut oil that's organic and in glass jars, not plastic. That's all I eat. And I'll tell you what, my body feels 100 times better. Do I need to lose a little weight? Yeah, I do, because I don't work out the way I should be. I in the middle of a situation where I'm having to care for my 82-year-old wheelchair-bound mother, so I don't get to stay in the best shape that I should be. But at least when I do things, like I mean, I still do, body weight exercises, push-ups and dips and squats and things like that. And since eating healthy and getting rid of all the garbage, my body responds so much better. So much better. I'm not losing strength. I'm still retaining, like grip strength and hand strength and actual strength. I can still carry all the stuff that I used to, that I could carry when I was in my 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s. Because I'm not ingesting a bunch of poisons and carcinogens and things that are degrading my body. And if you're a prepper or a self-reliant person, you need to get out of this mindset of buying all this cheap crap food. Number one, it's not good for us. Number two, when you do have to bug out, and that time will come, it will happen. You cannot stand on whatever your house or homestead or whatever forever. There will be time when the shite hits the fan and groups of marauders come, they're going to outnumber you and you're going to have to leave. And you're not going to be able to carry all that stuff with you. You see in apocalypse movies all the time. I know they're movies, but a lot of what they show is reality based, where you go to a house and you're finding all these stashes of canned goods and other things because people had to leave and they couldn't take it with them. Why? Because it's too bulky and too heavy. They had no way. They were on foot. Why? Because there's no vehicles running, no gas, no parts for engines. Even if there was parts for engines, there's no fuel to run them. So they had to go on foot. They could only take what they could physically carry. And they were eating this crap food, so their bodies are not in the best shape. They're lethargic. They have no energy, no stamina. Same thing applies in the real world as what you see in these movies. A lot of these movies are prophetic because they're showing the way things are going to be when the shite hits the fan. And the way this country's going and this world's going, it's very likely it's going to happen. It's very likely. And you're going to be caught with your pants down, and you're going to be caught basically sitting on the crapper, nowhere to go and nothing you can do. And then medically you're going to be in the hurt locker because your body's going to break down because you're putting crap into it. It's that simple. Not to mention if you have a family and you're pumping this stuff into your wife and your children. And I mean, it's, I don't know. I just don't get it. Is pimping all that crap worth the few dollars you're making from brand deals or AdSense? I mean, really? Instead of really showing people what they should be doing to prepare? Most of these people that are so-called preppers or survivalists, again, I hate that word. It's such a misnomer. They're out there, coming across as these authorities that, are telling you, yeah, go to your, if you have a local case sale at the grocery store, buy up all this stuff and stock it away, or buy XYZ brand of survival food or ABC brand of survival food, because they're getting paid to do it. And they're regurgitating stuff they see from other preppers. That's it. It's not because they have any actual knowledge See, I spent a decade as a paramedic with a neonatal intensive care specialty. I have degrees in biology and a few other ologies that I had to have to become a NICS. So I have knowledge of this stuff. I have knowledge of what these things do to the body. I did clinical time working in a morgue, working with a very brilliant pathologist that taught me a lot and showed me a lot of. He knew if people smoked. He knew if people had bad eating habits. He could see it in their bodies, the way things had damaged their bodies. They could tell. He could tell you their diet. He could tell you if they smoked. He could tell you if they drank. The guy was. I learned so much from him, and he was so spot on. And I've seen it with people in my family that I know that, you know, drank soda one after another, and ended up dying of diabetes and other issues because they were putting this cheap crap food and sodas and all this other stuff into their bodies. The foods I grew up on, Kraft mac and cheese, they weren't bad back when I was a child, but today they'll kill you. They'll kill you. And your body, you only have one body, you only have one life. This is a temple, a sacred temple. And if you don't care for your sacred temple, guess what happens? The foundation crumbles and that temple falls apart and falls down. You need to change your train of thought. You need to stop being your own worst enemy. And you need to stop being so brain dead stupid when it comes to nutrition for you, your family, or even if it is just you, and like I said, you're looking to live through whatever's coming. You want to live as long as you can. You got to think about it. You really got to think about it. Well, that's it for this one. If you got any benefit of this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Always plan, train, prepare, and defend. And we will see you on the next one. I thank you for watching. If you're planning on bugging in, staying put, when the collapse happens, you're sorely mistaken, because you will have to abandon your house. You will find marauding gangs that will outnumber you. And even if you have a small group of people, you're going to find roving gangs that are going to outnumber you, that will take over. Or you're going to be in a major firefight if you have enough ammo to sustain. One way or the other, though, you will have to abandon your fortress, your home, and move on. And if you're not prepared for that, you will lose. So don't believe all the stuff you see on the internet, because it's not true.